Today, I'm going to take this $15 Amazon keyboard and transform it into a premium sounding custom keyboard. Hopefully. Okay, so here's the game plan. I saw this keyboard on Amazon for less than $15 and I knew I had to check it out. So not to waste any more time, I immediately got into disassembling the keyboard so we can start modding. So I started off by removing the keycaps, and to not my surprise really, there were some fake Cherry MX Reds that have literal more scratchiness than sandpaper. Not to mention, the case is probably the most hollow thing I've felt in my entire life, and you know what? Just here's the sound test. Anyways, another super annoying thing was trying to disassemble this case. You could see that there was a lot of random screws just in weird places, and even after I was done with that, there was these sharp plastic brackets inside the case that were so hard to take apart. The top part of the case eventually came off with some force, but I still had to remove the PCB from the bottom of the case. This was just as hard, if not harder, and there was actually a singular screw hidden under one of the rubber feet, only one, that connected the PCB to the bottom of the case in the weirdest spot, and I didn't even notice it until I pulled it apart and it snapped, but it doesn't matter, it's a $15 keyboard. Now that the keyboard is finally disassembled, I'm going to go ahead and do my foam mod, which you can check out in my last video on the top right of the screen. And let me tell you, this keyboard has the most random, sharp, weird ridges inside of the bottom of the case that it took forever to cut up the foam and, you know, kind of fill it out, but eventually I got it done and it looks something like this. Now, before I close the case, I'm just going to go ahead and finish off doing a simple tape mod, and then I'm going to close it back up. And like a quick little random thing here that I don't have B-roll for, and you'll understand why in a second, is that I wanted to band-aid mod the stabilizers, because as you can tell from the sound test, they were horrible. And then I realized the stabilizers are glued to the plate. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put on this keycap set I have lying around that should be hopefully just slightly better quality, even though it's not the best, and it's double shot ABS plastic and looks very similar to the original one. Now after putting this on, I was like, okay, this is good, I'm going to call it a video, I'm going to sound test it, and I didn't even record the sound test because when I did the sound test for myself, I was like, oh my god. I did not want to lube this keyboard. It's so expensive to buy lube, and I was like, there's no way I'm wasting this like lube that literally costs more than the keyboard. But after trying it, I knew I had to, so this is me wasting my expensive lube on a $15 keyboard. Lubing the switches was a really weird process because I don't have a desoldering machine, so I had to push down the stem to lube the inside of the housing. And let me tell you, the plastic would shave off if I pushed too harshly against it, and these are really, really, really bad switches. But now that I finally have all the lubing done, it made a world of a difference, and here's the final sound test of how the keyboard sounds. I know. It does not sound like a $200 keyboard. It doesn't even sound like a $30 keyboard. But for the amount of effort I put into this keyboard and for how cheap it was, if you want to get into mechanical keyboards and you're willing to kind of do this or something along these lines, it isn't necessarily a horrible idea. I'm sorry about that. If you guys want to see more videos like this and get clickbaited just as much, go ahead and check out my other videos and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time.